안녕하세요. Riding on the Korean wave. Welcome to a brand new week on the Culture Wave. I'm Kwon-soa in Seoul. Explore with us Korea's culture from all aspects and stay up to date with K-entertainment with a special focus on K-pop today, K-farms, K-trends, K-everything. And before you know, you'll be booking your flight to Korea. And as it is Monday, we're going to kick off the new week with our co-host Walter Lee in the studio. Hello, Walter.
Hello, Soa, and hello everyone at home who is viewing this beautiful show. My name is Walter Lee, and I'm here with your daily dose of K-Enter News, so stick around for that.
Looking forward to that, and we're also joined by Arirang's news features reporter Park Kwon-woo. Welcome, Kwon-woo.
Hello, Kwon-woo.
Hi, Soa, and hi, Walter. And also a big hello to our viewers as well. I'm Park Kwon-woo, news features reporter at Arirang News, and I got some interesting news just for you, so stick around.
Well, Kwon-woo, I want to give you a new nickname. I'll call you the travel boy or a travel man because you travel a lot around the country to give us a new perspective here on the Culture Wave. Now, this time you also traveled, and I think your coverage also involves a little bit of labor, physical labor. And it's a place that's famous for 청양 고추 or 청양 chili peppers. So tell us where you were and also what you discovered there.
Yeah, so just as Soa just mentioned, I visited Cheongnyang-gun County in Chungcheongnam Province, the Midwest part of the country. And especially as it's peak farming season these days in Korea, I saw many farmers work very hard at the sites. And also I found someone new, some people that's new in this region that's also helping out this region because it's also suffering from labor shortages. But before I tell you more, let's take a look and I'll show you what's happening on the ground. A vast area of crop fields stretches across Cheongnyang-gun County in Chungcheongnam Province, a countryside region where farming is central. It's easy to find land and vinyl greenhouses here, but much harder to find people to farm them, especially in May, Korea's peak farming season. That's a sharp contrast to the past, when entire villages in rural regions work side by side in the traditional ture system during busy times. But with Korea's aging population and younger people moving to cities, rural labor shortages have become a growing challenge. That's where new helping hands are stepping in. Foreign seasonal workers employed legally under Korea's E8 visa program from 2017. Dressed in farming gear, those workers began their work early, braving the heat and humidity. On this day, they cleared frost protection plastic from the soil and carried heavy metal pipes used to support crops, all while wading through muddy fields. I've only been working alongside them in this pepper field for a few minutes, and I'm already starting to sweat. But it's these foreign workers who help local farmers do this every single day. Though language can be a barrier, many see this as a chance to learn.
Working here isn't too hard, especially knowing I can send money home to my family. Communication can be difficult at times, but I'm learning a lot using farming machines and new techniques that I hope to take back and use on my own farm someday.
And farmers describe their help as vital.
They're like lifelines for us. Without this workforce, farming in our rural community simply couldn't continue. Without their help, my wife and I could only manage a much smaller piece of land.
Due to its popularity, the number of these workers is growing, with nearly 70,000 foreign seasonal workers coming to Korea this year alone, thousands more than the year before. Local governments are expanding agreements with other cities abroad, and even considering longer-term visas. While the spring remains busy in the countryside, the shoulders of local farmers bearing the weight of our food supply are now a little lighter, thanks to help from afar.
Kwon-woo, it really looks like this program is creating a win-win situation for both the local farmers and the seasonal workers. So could you expand a little bit on what kind of benefits are being offered to the seasonal workers and also whether there are some areas of improvement as well?
So, of course, as I mentioned in my report, one of the biggest problems is the language barrier. And to address this, local governments are coming up with ways to solve it.
We're hiring interpreters to visit farms twice a week and listen to any issues foreign workers may be facing. They talk to the workers individually, keep notes in Korean, and help us respond to their needs. If necessary, we're planning to expand this into a one-on-one buddy system for closer support.
And aside from the language barrier, living conditions are also a major concern for short-term workers. And that's why local governments have been steadily building more housing facilities. In Cheongyang, for example, the dorm I visited was newly built, as you can see in the screen right now, offering workers a clean, shared living space, complete with a kitchen and laundry machines.
Obviously, we got to talk visas. This is the most important thing when it comes to working overseas. Can you please tell our viewers the kind of visas they will need to apply for when trying for these farm sort of working conditions?
That, of course, as well. So today I'd like to walk you through 3 main visas related to this working environment in South Korea. So let's take a look at the chart on the screen right now. So first, as mentioned in my coverage, seasonal workers usually apply for the E8 visa, and it allows foreign workers to stay and work for about 5 months. But recently, there's been some flexibility with the stay period extended by up to an additional 3 months. There are also ongoing discussions about allowing E8 visa holders to transition to an E9 non-professional employment visa. That allows workers to stay up to 3 years, with an extension possible. If this is decided by policymakers and if both the employer and the worker agree to an extension, this could give more stability to foreign laborers in the farming sector. And finally, there's the C4 short-term employee visa, which allows holders to work for up to 90 days.
Oh, very informative and great reporting, Konu, as always. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now time for our daily dose of K-Enter News with Walter Lee. Walter, let's kick off with some news on an album's songs that have been echoing across the world in the past few days.
It sure has been. So we're talking about BTS's Jin. It has, of course, received amazing responses from fans around the world following the release of his second mini album, Echo, on Friday. Now, according to his agency, Big Hit Music, on Saturday, Echo soared to the top of the iTunes top albums in 63 countries by 7 a.m. Korean time the day after its release. Now, the album's title track, Don't Say You Love Me, also reached #1 on the iTunes Top Songs chart in 61 countries and secured the top position on both the worldwide iTunes Songs and European iTunes Songs chart as well. Now, Jin is also scheduled to host his first solo fan concert on June 28th and 29th at the Goyang Sports Complex Auxiliary Stadium in Seoul, so hopefully don't miss that out.
Well, Don't Say You Love Me is the title song, but the fans will probably say, we love you.
Of course they will.
And we're going to move on with some other BTS members. This time it's about Jimin and Jungkook. What's the news?
Yes, of course. So both Jimin and Jungkook have reached another significant milestone in their solo careers. Now, according to recently announced winners of the 2025 BMI Pop Awards, Jimin's track Like Crazy and also Who, along with Jungkook's 3D featuring Jack Harlow and Standing Next to You, were named among the most performed songs of the year. Now, the BMI Pop Awards, hosted annually by Broadcast Music Inc., a US music rights organization established all the way back in the 1939s, celebrates exceptional achievements in pop music, honoring both songwriters and also music publishers. Now, the most performed songs of the year category recognizes the 50 most played and broadcast songs across the US radio, television, live events, and also digital platforms throughout the year. Now, this year, 51 songs were selected, with obviously Jimin and Jungkook each having 2 spots on the list.
Wow, great achievement. Let's see how far their popularity can rise. And that brings us to our last story, which is about another boy group called Rise.
Very good segue. So earlier today, boy group Rise made a return on promoting their release of their first full-length album called Odyssey. Now, to mark the album's release, Rise hosted a showcase at Blue Square MasterCard Hall in Seoul, boosting tracks such as Fly Up and the B-side track Bad Bad Back. So the album serves as a clear statement of the group's identity, showcasing their unique genre, emotional pop. Across a total of 10 tracks, the title track, Fly Up, is a dance track inspired by the sound of 1950s rock and roll. So the full-length album, Odyssey, will be available on major music streaming platforms beginning at 6 p.m. Monday. Well, that's today, and I know that we are going to talk a little bit more in our show a bit later.
We are. Well, thank you very much, Walter, for those K-Enter updates, and stick around.
Will do.
And now it's time to go over to our AI anchor, Ari, for more culture news.
Hello and welcome to your AI guide to the latest cultural updates from Korea. Here's our top story. Korean temple food, rooted in Buddhist teachings and philosophy, has been officially designated as a national intangible cultural heritage. Passed down through generations in temples, this culinary tradition includes both daily monastic meals and ceremonial offerings such as 바로공양. A key feature of temple cuisine is its strict adherence to a plant-based diet, excluding not only meat and fish but also 5 pungent vegetables, including garlic and green onions. This reflects Buddhism's core principle of nonviolence and the practice of restraint. Korean temple food is now gaining global recognition as a model of healthy and sustainable eating. The Korean musical Maybe Happy Ending is making a strong impression on the US theater scene, following its Best Musical win from the New York Drama Critics Circle earlier this month. The production has claimed 2 major honors at the 91st Drama League Awards: Outstanding Production of a Musical and Outstanding Direction of a Musical, awarded to director Michael Arden. The Drama League Awards are one of the oldest and most prestigious American theater awards presented annually. Set in the future, Maybe Happy Ending tells the story of Oliver and Claire, robots designed to assist humans who unexpectedly fall in love. The musical landed 10 nominations for the upcoming Tony Awards, including Best Musical, Best Direction, Best Book, and Best Score. The annual Rose Festival is in full bloom at Everland, located in Yongin, Gyeonggi-do Province. The event features 3 million roses across 720 varieties, drawing in large crowds of visitors, themed as a month-long royal tea party in the Rose Garden. The event offers visitors a multi-sensory cultural experience, from aromatic afternoon teas and sweet desserts to themed entertainment and shopping. Marking its 40th anniversary, the festival offers an expanded lineup of captivating displays and programs. Since its launch in 1985, the festival has welcomed over 60 million visitors. The celebration runs through June 15 this year. That's all from me. Stay tuned to the Culture Wave.
May seems to be the month of new K-pop releases. From groups to solo artists, mini albums, and full-length albums, there's something for every K-pop fan. Now let's find out more on the latest in the world of K-pop with our K-pop expert, Jeff Benjamin, connected to us now. Hello, Jeff.
Hello, Jeff.
Hello, happy May, you guys.
Happy May. Well, first off, let's start with BTS's Jin. As Walter reported on K-Enter, Jin's latest solo mini album, Echo, was released on Friday. It's receiving so much love already. So, Jeff, what do you think of it?
Yeah, I think once again, as expected from any BTS member, this is a great piece of work. I actually think I like this album better than Jin's first debut solo album that we got only 6 months ago. So he's been really working hard. And Echo, it has a bit more emotion in this album. We see here with his title track single, "Don't Say You Love Me." Unless I got that title wrong. There's a lot of emotions in this album, and also it goes through a lot of styles of rock. Jin loves rock music. It goes from everything from country, punk rock, British rock. We get all different kinds of styles here. So Jin is really doing good, and personally, I quite like this album, and I'm having a good time listening to it.
Yeah, well, Walter and I were talking about the album before, and it kind of reminds us of the times when we listened to Western pop a lot, like when we were little, kind of like the 90s and 2000s vibe as well.
Yes, I completely agree. And it's great that you enjoyed the album almost better than the first album, because, that second album is always, there's more pressure to produce that second album to make it better, right? And today, obviously, it being Monday here in Korea, we have a list of new releases I mentioned in K-Enter as well. Please tell us from whom they are, from what you know, and which ones are grabbing your attention the most.
Yeah, it's a really packed day. It's going to be a really exciting day. There's a lot to get into. One that I'm really personally excited about, just because he always brings it, is another soloist from another big boy group, Baekhyun of EXO. He'll be back with his fifth mini album, The Essence of Reverie. And I'm so excited for this, not only because I always really enjoy, he's a great vocalist. He's given a tease of the album through this pre-release track, Chocolate, that once again is giving really good R&B vibes. But it's all before his world tour this year, and he's never gone on a solo world tour. So finally, maybe you guys have seen him already. Us in America, we've never gotten to see Baekhyun on his own. So I'm so excited for that. Another big guy coming out, Kim Jae-jung, of course, of JYJ fame and originally TVXQ. He is coming out. Last year, he celebrated 20 years in the industry with an album, and now he's just continuing on. I think very strongly his new single is called Rockstar, and I think that's just very appropriate for someone like him who just continues on and keeps things very exciting. Can't wait to see what he brings. And also, this one might be a little unexpected, but I want to give a shout out to the new girl group BVS, who is releasing their first mini album today as well. Actually, their producer, Paul Thompson, came onto Arirang News and announced girl group's debut when their first album was coming on. So I think we got to give a shout out to them, because they've given some hints and tastes of the album so far with songs like Tea and Perfect. And I really think this girl group could be one to look out for. So that's VVS from Mars Music, aka Paul Thompson, coming out today.
Yes, we were already very excited when we heard from Paul about this new girl group coming out. And also Baekhyun as well, Kim Jae-jung, many solo artists as well. So Jeff, why are we seeing this amazing lineup in the month of May? Is that just a coincidence, or do you think there is a specific reason?
I think it's because, right before summer, everyone wants that summer hit, right? We want to kind of, put our place, make sure that we can kind of, have the song of the summer, make something that, gets people very aware. At Billboard, actually, there's the Song of the Summer chart, where they kind of track, what are the biggest songs, specifically for the summer months. And it's kind of like an honor to be named Song of the Summer. So I think we're kind of seeing all these artists, it's the middle of May, it's kind of, we're winding down, getting into June. And I think it's kind of like, how can we get our feet in? How can we, start in an exciting way and really kind of get noticed? Because before you know it, it'll be fall, the winter ceremonies, award shows will all be here. So, it feels like, okay, spring is a really good time to just make sure we get our feet in the door and make sure we don't get lost, on the way here.
It's quite interesting, with K-pop becoming even bigger and bigger. And now we're into our so many years now of K-pop. We have to change a little bit, we have to reinvent ourselves, reinvent the genre a little bit. Are there any interesting or creative approaches we see in the promotion of the latest songs or albums, or that you're seeing?
Yeah, I think you guys mentioned Rise before, and that's
Yeah.
another really big album coming out to their first full-length album. And what's really cool about this Rise album specifically is that they actually created kind of a whole cinematic film. There's a 40-minute film that accompanies the album, and kind of surprising actually, they premiered it with fans beforehand. Fans could see it in the cinema, or they could watch it on their Weverse if you were a member there. So on one hand, you might be a little worried that the music and the visuals might leak, but I think this has just got the excitement, going higher. Fans are very excited to see, all these different tracks, all these different sounds. And, even like looking at the album track names, it's very intriguing to wonder how they're going to bring songs like Ember to Solar and the new single Fly Up or Midnight Mirage. How do you bring these songs to life, and how do you bring them to life in Rise's universe? So it's a really exciting and cool concept, and I'm very excited to see where they go from here. Maybe one day we'll get it in theaters in America. Who knows? I hope so.
Well, great stuff. Now let's move over to a girl group. We're going to talk a little bit about Idol. Maybe some are still a bit more familiar with their former name, G-Idol. So they returned with a new name for the first time since 7 years. So what can we make of this change from G-Idol to Idol?
Yeah, that was, I think, a really cool and progressive move. The backstory behind this is that when they were known as G-Idol or Yoja Idol, which kind of, the G representing girl, essentially, saying, they're idols, but they are, girl idols in that way. And now the backstory is that Idol did renew their contracts with their record label, Cube Entertainment. And I think with that, they got a lot of say and a lot of, control within their art and their future works. So one of these big changes that we're seeing now is the name change to not BT Idol, but just Idol. I think it's kind of a cool idea. It's a more universal name. It's saying, we're not just for one gender, or we don't represent, one group of people. We're for everyone. Idol is definitely a more, universal term in that way. And I think what I hope is that we're going to see it in the music as well. I think we're going to see these kind of elements of freedom, liberation, taking control of one's story. We're kind of seeing some of the visuals right here. The girls are, partying, doing their own thing, maybe not acting like the traditional, K-pop idol we might have known in the past, but instead, just really living for themselves and enjoying themselves and making something that they're truly, truly proud of, and, that could represent themselves. So I'm really curious to see where this concept goes, where the comeback goes, and how the music will follow. But yeah, it might be a little tricky at first, but yeah, it's no longer G-Idol or Yoja Idol. It is simply Idol now.
Fighting to Idol.
Yes, so let's actually talk about, a boy group now. So we'll talk about 17 marking their decade anniversary. The group will release a full-length album later this month. What can we expect from this one, do you think?
Ooh, yeah, I think this is going to be a really big one. By the way, it's so funny. 2015 was a huge year for K-pop debuts. I just remember it being so big. That's the year of Twice. That's the year of Oh My Girl. And of course, 17, who are coming back with a big celebration for their new album, Happy Birthday. This is going to be a special full-length album. It's going to have a lot of different tracks, some solo tracks. They're also announced a new unit for 17 is coming this year, and they're doing it really big. This is just one album, and that's going to be it. They're going to perform on the I hope I'm saying this right, Jamsugyo Bridge in Seoul for the upcoming album. I don't think any group has ever performed on that before, so that's going to be so huge. Timbaland, who is obviously an iconic producer who's done everything, his music, Aaliyah, Nelly Furtado, Justin Timberlake, just so many huge songs throughout the years. He's going to be featured on the album. And of course, as we know, 17, as the self-producing and self-writing group that they are, they're sure to bring a lot of musical surprises, a lot of excitement. So this 17 album, I think, is going to be a really big one. And they clearly want to make sure it's big. I know some friends who have even flown out to Korea just to celebrate for it.
Right. I heard it's going to be a big celebration. Well, Jeff, I'm afraid that's all the time we have. It looks like we have so many great music to listen to in the month of May. There are also some rookie bands that have new releases, like from Meow and also Kickflip. The list goes on. Well, thank you very much for your K-pop insights today, Jeff. Talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Jeff.
Guys.
And thank you, Walter. We'll talk to you again very soon.
See you very soon.
Thank you for spending the past half an hour with us on the Culture Wave. Please join us again tomorrow on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Korea time and maybe one day here in Korea.